So welcome, I'm going to do a little tour of the secret places in the college, some of the places that maybe you've never seen before, so hopefully you find it interesting and let's go. So this is one of the sabbatical suites, so we have like a number of these in London House. Members never normally get to come in and see them unless you come and stay with us once you've left the college. And this is one on the second floor in London House, and see, there's a really nice little dining area here, and there's a kitchen behind us, and then there's a quick look into the bedroom. And then, you know, it's a really nice big space here, and the desk, and then a living area. But the best thing about this suite is the view out into the London House quad from here. So just out the window you can see straight over, and you can see that we're on the south side of the building, looking into the London House quad, and over on the other side, for those of you that remember it, you can see the mulberry tree, which still gives us fruit every year. Members go and pick the fruit in August and September. Okay, so this is secret place number 2, and this is one of the sabbatical suites. So this doesn't have a kitchen in it, and this is the David Copperfield suite. So all of the sabbaticals we've named after Dickens characters. So this is on the 3rd floor, the David Copperfield suite, and it's yeah, I'm sure lots of members, if they actually had the opportunity to live in here rather than their little single room with a shared bathroom, would be very pleased. So it's kind of, you know, got a really lovely desk in front of the window, and a really, again, lovely view out into London House quad from the 3rd floor, looking out there on the mulberry tree, which is just turning now for autumn. A bit late this year, but beautiful colours on it. Okay, so now we're up on the 5th floor of London House, and what I want to show you is this weird little staircase here that actually it goes to the roof, but you can't get out onto the roof. But one of the things on this staircase is that I wanted to show you are these 2 paintings. Now, here we go, painting number 1 and painting number 2. Now actually, I've deliberately hung these paintings on this stairwell because nobody goes up here, and they are, I think, pretty bad. And so it's not really my job to judge the quality of the paintings at the college. When somebody asks you to hang paintings, you know, you kind of have to find out where you're going to hang them. So I think that these 2 paintings were done by 2 members in the past. And I think it was a kind of joke. They were doing a thing like, oh, anybody can paint abstract art. But the funniest thing about it is we then had a company come round who was filming all of the art in public buildings that was accessible, and they were filming all the oil paintings, taking pictures of all the oil paintings for a website called Art UK that's got all of the paintings listed on it, and these 2 paintings got listed on those websites as pieces of art. So now they're suddenly legitimate pieces of art. Okay, so and now we're in the hotel, and I know that lots of members never came in the hotel while they stayed here, but remember, as an alumni, you get a discount in the hotel. Now the hotel's closed at the moment. Once we went into second lockdown in the UK, there was nobody travelling, so actually we decided to close it down completely for at least a month. But we're in one of the suites. This is the best area of the hotel. So there's 4 of these suites in the hotel on the 1st floor, and this is the living room of, you know, what would have been in the olden times, you know, the Georgian living room of one of these houses, and it's really, as you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. Actually, to be honest, I've never stayed in a suite in the hotel, but then I suppose I live in London House, so there's no reason for me to. But the best bit about the suites at the front is the view over the balcony and over the garden. Look at that. And these houses were deliberately built with the living room on the 1st floor, so that actually that the family had the view over the garden, because they don't actually have very big gardens of their own. So yeah, there we go, suite in the hotel. Remember, there's 4 of these, and they're all decorated slightly differently, and they've all got different names. So we've got like the Bloomsbury suite, the Tavistock suite, the Brunswick suite, so they're all named after squares in Bloomsbury. Okay, so the hotel we've used the hotel for about 20 years. I think it used to be called something called Friendship House before then, and it was converted into a hotel, I think, in the year 2000. Some bits of the hotel have not been decorated since then, so they've still got the same 20-year-old curtains hanging up on them. And any of you that might be in the hotel business will know that you refurbish a hotel room probably every 4 or 5 years, but you know, Goodenough College doesn't have the money to refurbish the rooms all the time like that. But we are planning on doing them very soon, so we've mocked up a few to see what we might like. And so this is one of the ones that we've mocked up for the new style, and to be honest, I absolutely love it. So this is at the top of number 24 Mecklenburg Square, right on the top on the 4th floor. And as you can see, we've gone for this really kind of chic grey. Oh, I love the interior designer, whoever did this. And the thing that I love the most though are the curtains. I could die for these curtains. I'm thinking about just maybe stealing them, and look, the material is so beautiful. Okay, so now we're over in Willie G. So we've come from London House, past the club, and to Willie G. Now I'm going to show you what we call Larry's flat. Larry's flat is the hardest flat in the college to find, and quite often even the reception staff don't know where it is. So to get to Larry's flat, we first have to go up one flight of stairs. So for those of you that know Willie G or lived in Willie G, this is JCC wing, where most of the flats are. So you have to go up one flight of stairs, through this corridor, and on this way into Elysium wing, and then down two flights of stairs. And there's no lift this way, so you have to go down two flights of stairs. So the entrance is when we Larry's flat, use it as an emergency flat, so somebody's leaking in their flat, who's leaking, then we might use the flat. Then when we don't use it, trying to their shopping, upwards and downwards. So again, we're still going down on a gravel now, going the whole into the basement. And it's only the basement. You can get a little bit of dampness, but here we are at Larry's flat. Oh, and another heavy door, and I'm just going to flick the lights on really quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a bit dark in here, isn't it? And so if you, this is Larry's flat. So it's okay. It's a nice kind of big bedroom there, and then a second bedroom just here, and then a living room at the end, and then the kitchen and the bathroom. I mean, to be honest, some people would love to live in this flat, because those of you that have lived in a flat before might have spotted that there's a washing machine and a dishwasher in this flat, which not everybody gets. And then the bathroom at the end. But let me tell you why it's called Larry's flat. So when we refurbished Willie G, we closed it down in 2011 and reopened in 2012. And at the time there was a man called Larry who used to make the eggs in the Great Hall. So I don't know if any of you remember Larry. He used to always do the breakfast shift, and apparently he made the best eggs ever. Larry was from the Philippines, and he lived in this flat with his wife. Now, I didn't actually know that Larry lived in this flat for all of that time that I was working here. I didn't know that this flat existed, or even that Larry and his wife lived down here. And anyway, we were closing Willie G, and so we were trying to think, well, what are we going to do about Larry and his wife? And then we started talking to Larry and said to Larry, well, Larry, how old are you? And it turned out that Larry was 73 years old. He honestly didn't look it. But still every day happily flipping eggs in the Great Hall every day. And actually, you know what, to be honest, we had a word with Larry and decided it was probably time for him to retire. And so what we did is we helped him find a property in Camden to move into. So he moved out when we were refurbishing, and we closed down Willie G. And then I came down to this flat, and I was embarrassed to see the state that Larry and his wife were living in. Honestly, there were still bits. This used to be the old kitchen in Willie G as well, before Larry moved into it. So there was a massive kind of meat locker where the bathroom is now. And I was so scared to open the door to that meat locker, because I just thought, I'm going to open it up and there's going to be carcasses of pigs and cows hanging in there. And as a vegan, that really didn't appeal to me. But anyway, I mean, it's a happy story. Larry and his wife were very happily located. But this is a place that hardly anyone ever comes. And you can hear it's kind of a bit echoey and silent down here. So now we're in the 4th floor of Willie G, and this is the warden's flat, or those of you that know Jenny. Jenny was recently living in this flat. Jenny left the college a couple of weeks ago to pursue a new career. Well, she's going to remain a vicar, of course, but she's also pursuing a new career as well. But the thing that I wanted to show you in this flat was, for those of you that might have followed my ghost tour on the alumni weekend, I talked about Maria Fitzherbert and her house called Elysium, which is why we have a wing called Elysium. So Elysium was a Georgian house. Maria Fitzherbert was the Catholic wife of George IV, although you're not allowed to have a Catholic wife if you're going to be the king, so it wasn't a legitimate marriage. He married Caroline of Brunswick. Anyway, Elysium House was a regency house on this site, which was knocked down in the 1960s. And Elysium Wing is built over the top of it, and Maria Fitzherbert lived in Elysium, and there's only 2 bits of Elysium that still exist. One is the fig tree in the fountain quad, and the other one is this fireplace, which they moved into Jenny's flat. Now, obviously we don't have a fire, we don't have any fires at the college, but this is the original Regency fireplace from the House Elysium. I don't really know what it's depicting. There's some sort of a dog and some partridges or something or other. It's not that elaborate, but it is nice to still have a few things left from Maria Fitzherbert's House Elysium. And of course, those of you that followed me on the ghost tour know that Maria Fitzherbert still comes back to make sure her house and the area around it is still okay. So she still visits 300 years later. Ha 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 ha.